Can you imagine? He chugged a whole bottle, hoping for peace, then decided to step outside for air. Xiao Feng, tortured by his aching legs, couldn't sleep and resorted to alcohol like a drunken prince. Eventually, his pent-up rage erupted like a volcano as he stormed into the teacher's room. With tears streaming, he poured out grievances, asking, "How could I end up like this?" Just as he was about to approach, someone suddenly popped up outside the window, shocking him. It was the masked man. Upon seeing him, Xiao Feng got so scared he jumped like a startled deer, sprinting into a nearby bedroom and then bolting out the back door into the woods. His heart raced with fear, half expecting someone to ambush him like a sneak attack. And guess what? Someone really did. When Xiao Feng opened his eyes again, he found himself locked up in chains. Truly a chained little Sora, as toxic ants crawled all over him. All he could do was scream in agony, awakening the little fish upstairs. "Come see this funny scene." He ventured into the basement with a flashlight, only to turn on the light and get a face full of horror, screaming at the shocking view. Little Hao and little Mei were playing by the sea when they heard Xiao scream. Xiao Hao rushed into the basement like a superhero, while Xiao Mei hesitated. At this moment, Xiao was in shock, dumbly shaking his head at Xiao Hu's questions. Xiao Hu instantly blamed everything on Xiao Yuan. Suddenly, Xiao Mei decisively slammed the basement door shut like a boss, turned around, and marched straight to the teacher's room with a determined look. She took off her ever-present sunglasses, revealing her oops expression, saying, "Teacher, this place is not safe." Meanwhile, in the basement, Xiao Yu and Xiao Hu found a shovel and busted open the wooden door like detectives on a mission, only for Xiao Yu to find the teacher's door wide open. He stepped inside, almost losing his mind, realizing it was empty except for a pair of sunglasses left on the floor. Instantly sensing trouble, he whipped out his phone to call the cops, only to find zero signal. What are the odds? Meanwhile, Xiao Mei had pushed the teacher to the cliff's edge, pleading, "Xiao Mei, don't do this." But Xiao Mei was relentless. Just when she was about to forcefully push the teacher off the edge, Xiao Yu arrived just in time, heroically tackling her, but Xiao Mei got mad and grabbed Xiao Yu by the neck. What a plot twist. Xiao Yu quickly grabbed a rock from the ground to fight back, but as Xiao Mei lunged at her again, she dodged nimbly, sending Xiao Mei tumbling off the cliff. Xiao Yu successfully rescued the teacher and brought her back to the villa, only to be knocked out cold by Xiao Hu out of nowhere as soon as she closed the doors and windows. Xiao Yu was helping Xiao Mei when Xiao Hu threw the teacher straight into the basement. Lol. Look at this drama unfolding. All of this mess can ultimately be attributed to you. What a riot of dark humor. Suddenly, Xiao Hu poured gasoline on the teacher, holding a lighter as if ready for a fire party. What he didn't expect was the masked man suddenly choking him from behind, leading to a ridiculous cough. As Xiao Hu struggled, he spotted a pair of scissors nearby and smartly jabbed it right into the masked man's neck, but the other one fiercely poked his eyeball, and he ultimately stopped struggling in a scream of pain. What a priceless moment. The teacher witnessed it all, calling out her son's name in shock, only to be stunned. The masked man was actually Xiao Yuan. Xiao Yuan aimed to smash the teacher with a huge stool, but thankfully, Xiao Yu kindly stopped it. Although Xiao Yuan dropped the stool he was holding, the hatred emanating from his eyes was undeniable, as he firmly declared that life is more painful than death. And that's the whole story Xiao Yu shared. After hearing it, the police hurriedly notified their colleagues to capture Xiao Yuan. Oh boy. When they arrived at Xiao Yuan's place, it looked like a haunted mansion. No one had lived there for ages. In the back of the house, they discovered an old lady sitting in a chair, surrounded by candles, straight out of a horror movie. When the officers got closer, they realized the old lady had turned to dust, clearly had been dead for a while. They checked another bedroom and found jewelry and clothes all belonging to a girl. So many red flags. The officers sensed something was off. Could it be Xiao Yuan was a girl? On the wall were newspapers with photos of 5 victims, showcasing a suspicious contrast that made me chuckle. Then, the police received a call informing them that the autopsy reports of the other 5 victims were in all had died of poisoning. Moreover, the officers had gatherings at the teacher's house every year. How could this happen? Police quickly arrived at the crime scene, only to find dead flies all over the food in the kitchen. It was a complete mess. That's when they realized Xiao Yu had carefully concocted lies. At the gathering, other than the food meant for the teacher, all the others had been poisoned. What a genius plot. At the table, Xiao played piano in the room, a true music addict. When the drugs kicked in, he emerged from his room holding a knife, ready for a scene straight out of a deadly symphony. He invited the kids to the basement for a second round of torture. Turns out everything those classmates encountered at school was actually Xiao's personal experiences. The teacher favored the rich kids, while Xiao was the neglected outcast. Following the tragedy that befell his mother, Xiao was fiercely driven to seek revenge by it all. This was his special gift to the teacher. Quite an amusing and helpless gesture, haha.